Films are a reflection of the preferences and values of the time period in which they were created. We may use Hollywood treatments to trace the shifting position of women, evolving beliefs about masculinity, war, crime, journalism, the CIA, and anything else across the decades. So what will historians say about us when they look back on this slew of superhero movies? Why do we love superhero movies so much? Let's talk about this in today's video, as this is Why We Love Superhero Movies. Popularity. Superhero movies haven't always been as popular as they are now. The superhero craze didn't really take off until 1998 with the release of Blade, which demonstrated that superhero films could be made for adults and taken seriously. Even if Blade was the first to start the superhero craze, the X-Men films from the 2000s actually paved the way by demonstrating the viability of superhero films. The film's success aided the birth of additional superhero film adaptations, such as Daredevil, Hulk, and Spider-Man, as studios recognized the potential cash cow these films could be. While the box office success of these films demonstrates that audiences are drawn to the genre, it doesn't explain why they are still popular years later, given that movies, like other trends, reach a peak and then die a quick death. The fundamental premise of comic book movies is not new. The good versus evil plotline has appeared in innumerable films, most notably in westerns. Steven Spielberg, arguably one of the best filmmakers of all time, once compared superhero films to westerns. We were here when the western died, and there will come a time when the superhero movie succumbs to the same fate. It doesn't mean there won't be another occasion when the western comes back and the superhero movie returns someday, Spielberg continued. Of course, the superhero film is alive and well right now. I'm just pointing out that in popular culture, these cycles have a finite lifespan. Superhero movies, like westerns, aren't going away anytime soon, but there will come a period when they decrease, as Spielberg predicted. When we compare the western genre to the superhero genre, we see a lot of similarities. A central hero in both western and superhero films tries to do good. A central enemy challenges the hero, and there's always a conflict between good and evil. They both serve as role models for people to look up to and aspire to be like. Both genres have also produced films that go beyond the cookie-cutter basic narrative lines and use the story to convey a message or a concept to the audience. Myths. Another reason why I think we're all obsessed with superhero movies is myths. They equal Mormonism in terms of audacity, boldly rewriting the canon of ancient stories and beliefs. However, they aren't nearly as entertaining. Mythical characters represent extreme human cravings, flaws, and strengths. They represent Aphrodite's love and beauty, Demeter's fertility and plenty, or wine and joyful lunacy, Dionysus. Superheroes are defined by one or more exceptional physical characteristics. And unlike Milton's devils, who embodied specific sins, Satan, pride, mammon, greed, Belial, wickedness, and Moloch, mischief, comic book villains lack the gloomy differences of Milton's devils, child sacrifice. In comic book movies, villains are just interested in conquering and killing. They have no desire to satisfy their appetites, gain vast wealth, erect monuments to themselves, establish utopian society, or engage in sadistic agony. They just care about one thing: winning. Spider-Man: Homecoming is a straightforward retelling of Icarus' narrative, which is possibly the most well-known of all Greek mythology. Icarus ignores his father's warnings and flies too high after being fitted with feather and wax wings by his inventor father, Daedalus. The wax is melted by the sun and Icarus falls to his death. Of course, this would be way too harsh a punishment for a superhero. Peter Parker begins a sort of apprenticeship with Iron Man, who creates a fancy costume for him that enhances his abilities while cautioning him to take things slowly. Of course, Spider-Man goes overboard and causes havoc, but he triumphs in the end after repeatedly tossing very heavy objects at his archenemy, who also happens to be his girlfriend's father, as a prize that escaped Hellenistic authors. He refuses Iron Man's mentorship in the end, but he keeps the suit. Another unbreakable rule is that the cool gear always stays. Wonder Woman is more innovative and adventurous in its terms of themes. Some of that superhero's utopian feminist and even kinky underpinnings made it into the script. Men are required for procreation but unneeded for pleasure, Diana declares. It takes a lot of inspiration from Paradise Lost, except instead of Lucifer rising against God, Ares, the god of war, rebels against his father Zeus and plots to destroy his creation. Ares maintains that men are fundamentally bad, while Diana insists that they are good and cute despite their flaws, blowing off the zealous feminism of her tribe. She defeats Ares by flinging enormous things at him and then frying him with thunderbolts, rather than by sacrificing herself. She then stays on to fight the evil in men. Admirable qualities. Superheroes also provide us with something to admire and want to be like. Superheroes, according to Robin Rosenberg, a clinical psychologist, allow us to find meaning in loss and tragedy, identifying our abilities and employing them for a positive purpose. Many heroes struggle with personal issues in addition to the obligation of protecting/saving the planet. Rosenberg's claims are reinforced by a hero like Spider-Man. He's a figure that a lot of people can identify to. Despite his superpowers, it is really motivating to witness him realize his own inner strength in the midst of all his challenges. He's a high school student with personal issues that many people can relate to, yet he doesn't let his difficulties stop him from doing good. He's a character that is perpetually on the verge of greatness, but his life's duties keep him from realizing his ambitions. The same argument may be made for cowboys, but as previously said, the days when cowboys ruled the screen are long gone. At the movie office nowadays, superheroes are the most popular genre. Rather than the Lone Ranger, they look up to Superman. Many people wish they could be Spider-Man swinging around New York, Iron Man flying around with his repulsors, or Batman in his Batmobile. Many of us aspire to be heroes, and viewing a superhero film allows us to do so, if only for 2 hours in a dark theater. A research study even supported this claim. Humans are drawn to heroes even before they can speak, according to a study from Kyoto University in Japan. The newborns in the study were shown a film of someone performing heroically, and the results showed that they were able to comprehend what they were watching. They even recognized the heroism depicted in the video. The concept of heroism and being a hero is ingrained in every one of us, which explains why we are drawn to such works. At the end of the day, there are a variety of reasons why superhero movies dominate the box office. Superhero movies feature the classic good versus evil conflict that has been lost since Western films, as well as deeper themes. They also provide us role models to aspire to be like. Perhaps society's desire for superheroes is biological, ingrained in our DNA, as an irrepressible attraction, as suggested in the research study.